and welcome to the Great to Code. Here in this playlist, we are going to talk about what are the digital communication and networking. Basically, we will focus on the introduction to digital communication and more things about here. So let's start. No matter its nature, to each communication has a essential element: transmitter, medium, channel, and receiver. Okay, let's start and understand what is the digital communication to analog to digital. So the communication that occur in the our day-to-day life is the form of the signals. These signals, such as sound signal, generally as analog in the nature. When the communication need to be established over a distance, then the analog signals are sent through the wires using different techniques for effective transmission. The necessity of the digitalization. So the conventional method that are the communication use analog signal for the long distance communication, which suffer from the many losses such as distortion, interference, and other losses, including security breaches. In other order to overcome this problem, these signals are digitalized using the different techniques. The digitalized signals allow the communication to be more clear, accurate, without losses. Here is you can see analog signal, and this is the digital signal. These are the representation of the signal. These are the analog signal, and if you see like this is the digital signal. Advantage of the digital communication: as the signal of the digital, there are the many advantage over analog communication, such as the effect of the distortion, noise, and interference is much less in digital signals as they are less affected. Digital circuits are more reliable. Digital circuits are easy to design and cheaper than analog signal circuit. The hardware implementation in the digital circuit is more flexible than analog. The occurrence of the crosstalk is very rare in the digital communication. The signal is unaltered as the pulse needed a high disturbance in the alter its properties, which is very difficult. Signals processing functions such as encryption and comparison are employed as a digital circuit maintain the secrecy of the information. The probability of error occurrence using the employing error detecting and error correcting code. So spread spectrum technique is used to avoid signal jamming, combining digital signal using the time division multiplexing and frequency division multiplexing. The configuration process of the digital signal is easier than the analog signal. A digital signal can be saved and received more conveniently than analog signal. Many of the digital circuits have the almost common encoding technique, and hence similar device can be used by a number of the purpose. This capacity also the channel of the effectively and utilized by digital signals. So now question arises like what are the element of the digital communication? So elements which form the digital communication system. Elements which form the digital communication system represented in the following block diagram: source, input, transducer A to D, source encoder, channel encoder, digital modulator D to A, then channel, digital modulator to converter, channel decoder, source decoder, output transducer to D to A converter. Following are the sections for the digital communication system. Source: the source can be analog system. Example is sound signal. Input transducer: this is transducer which take the physical input. Example analog to digital converter, where the digital signal is needed for the further process. You need to know source encoder. The source encoder compresses the data minimum number of bits, bandwidth, zero mode redundance. Then channel encoder does the coding the error corrector during the noise to channel signal. Main encoder adds more redundant bits and transmitting data. Channel, and the channel is a medium allowed to signal transmit from the transmitter end of receiver. And digital demulator, digital decoder,